crowned your WR Season 10 champion.
And history's been made. Ballina, the first WR PS4 champion. What a championship, what a season. Absolutely phenomenal.
Welcome to World Online Racing League Season 11. This is Tier 2 on the PC platform, and the hills were alive with the sound of cars tonight as we head to Spielberg for the Austrian Grand Prix. It was originally founded as the Austria Ring back in 1970, and it was later shortened, rebuilt and renamed the A1 Ring from 1997. Then the track reopened back in 2011 as the Red Bull Ring as we know it today. This very circuit made its reappearance back in 2014, where we saw the race that was won by Nico Rosberg in a Mercedes. It's raced there ever since, and it is to my date my favourite race to watch in real life and in league racing. My name is Jess Ball, one of your commentators tonight. I'm solo commentating once again, but I'm sure we're going to be in for some great action. There was no stream last week because I was away in Scotland for the weekend, and I came home, I was very knackered, and I didn't get back in time, so I didn't have time to do a stream. But anyway, we're all good to kick off with some racing. So we'll talk about a few action zones in a minute, but we'll give you a brief rundown of what happened in Canada last week when I wasn't here. We saw Nomsy, who took the win last week, and there's a few names you may recognise that actually raced here in Tier 1 just long ago, so they didn't have much of a break, to be honest, in terms of actually getting to the swing of different tiers tonight. So wish them the best of luck for that. And we also have Ace, Jeffrey Ritchie, who's currently in the standings right now, finished in second last week as well. So we'll go for your standings. So Ace is in the lead with 61 points. Luke Smith is in second with 50. JC is third with 43. Fourth is Nomsy with 42. Fifth is Tom97 on 26 points. Sixth is Fritzen on 24. Seventh is Jay Vahahe on 19. Eighth is Rumbadrania on 18, joint with Floris Vyers. And then we got Cookie in 10th with 16, joint with Days Wombus on 16 as well. And we got Mr. Anko on 15 with his early podium in China. Modesta Mena in 13th. I don't believe Modesta Mena is not racing tonight, I don't think. VRT Josh in 14th. Luca 15th. Alp Oskaya in 16th, Christian Sendel in 17th position, Sally in 18th position, Neon in 19th, and Lefted in last place. So, without further ado, I'm not going to keep you waiting very, very long at all. So, let's get on with this race. So, let me just get all the telemetry stuff sorted so you can all see the action. There we go. So in 3, 2, 1, let's get in to some racing. So we currently have some times set on the board right now. No indication as to what the weather is going to be. This track is 4.3 kilometers long. It has 10 corners. It makes it the shortest lap on the F1 calendar. But some people may think that it's an easy track because it's a short layout. It is nowhere mean easy. You've got to be careful of the undulation as well, the downhill sections, as well as the track limits. As a few people pointed out earlier, turn 9 and 10, a few things to watch out for as well, and the infamous turn 6 as well. A few people could get caught out and just run a little bit wide if you're not careful at all. So, and we have 3 DRS zones for overtaking opportunities, and I need to find someone that's actually on board on the lap at the moment. One being at the start finish straight, one through turn 2 and 3, and one going in to turn 4. So Let's see if anyone is on a lap at the moment that we can go on board with. We've got Sally at the moment in the Haas. Admitted to me earlier on that he hasn't had the best season, but it could have been a worse season for the Haas driver. So it will be interesting to see how he fares around this circuit. So he's going to make his way through turn 6 as he got a few traffic in front of him as well. Massive shout out to all of you that just come through the Tier 1 stream, and I was watching it before Tier 2 and I have to say the racing was incredible. So hopefully the Tier 2 guys will be treated to some great battles as well. So let's go on board with this Haas driver as we make our way to start this lap then. So we're about to head towards the Niki Lauda curve, named after Niki Lauda, of course, who has won 3 world titles, which is incredible to me as well. You're now going to be heading towards turn 2, which you don't really call a turn. I don't know why they call it, but blame, I think, MotoGP for that one. Then you go up the hill just after the 75 metre ball. Probably the 100 metre ball will be the best option, and we could see a few people going wide here as well. Next, DRS zone. 2 DRS zones fall directly after each other, and luckily Sally got out the way to carry on with his lap without slowing down too much as he heads past turn 4. We're heading towards turn 5 then, going down. Let's see what his set to 2 time is for the Haas driver as he goes into turn 6. 44.1. That's not a bad bit at all, as unfortunately he has invalidated his lap time, so he will be diving it into the pit lane. Let's see who else is on a lap then. Shizu Neon is on a lap then as well. He feels like his season should be a lot better. One of the only drivers on this grid, apart from Leftwood, obviously he's been in Tier 1 most of the season, but the only driver has taken part in most of the races this season to not score any points this season, and I'm sure he wants to definitely change that after tonight, and I'm sure tonight would be a best opportunity for him to do that, as he's got Mercedes having a nice tow there, so he's probably going to get some good slipstream as well, which should be very, very interesting. Let us know if you can hear me all right in the chat, guys. That'll be brilliant. Lovely helmet, by the way. Oh, and Neon, unfortunately, I just jinxed him there as well. It was lucky that the Mercedes avoided him there as well. I think no damage for the Red Bull driver then, so he's probably going to have to go into the pit lane. Because otherwise his tyres are going to be cut. Now, this is a track where it's not too bad on tyre degradation, so you can get away with a few laps on the soft, but if you're inside the top 10 with a few older tyres compared to everybody else, it's not going to be very good, I have to say. So, yes, I think Neon is going again. So Neon is disproving my theory quite well, actually. We've got a few names I haven't commented on before. We've got Eduardo Gil in the McLaren, obviously trying to replicate the real-life success that McLaren had at the Italian Grand Prix earlier on today, spoiler alert, as you don't want to be doing that, my friend, into turn 1, as few people are struggling on the traction and the handling on this game, as as I found Austria to be a lot harder on this game compared to previous games, but the graphics around Austria especially is really, really good. Now, Days Rombers actually is in P2. He's going to go back into the pits then, because he is not going to be setting another lap time for now. And we got Luke Smith, who was on pole position. Unfortunately, he retired in the Tier 1 race. He's hoping to get rid of those misfortunes and concentrate on having a good race today, because he's about 11 points behind Jeffrey Ritchie in the championship. And where is Jeffrey at the moment? He's currently sitting in P7. He's just coming out of the pits now in the Red Bull. Constructors' Championship looks like this, though, with Ferrari leading the way on 76 points. AlphaTauri in second on 62. Third is Red Bull on 61. Fourth is Alpine on 58. Fifth is Aston Martin on 33. Sixth is Mercedes on 30. Seventh is Williams on 26. Eighth is McLaren on 16 points. Ninth is Alfa Romeo on 5. And like in real life, Haas is in last. But at least they got points in WR. They are on 3 points respectively. So we got quite a few yellow flags as Luis Valles comes across the line in P2. Where did that time come from? I do believe we're starting to match the times that has been set in Tier 1 then. So it's been very, very close lap times indeed. I doubt we're going to get into the 101s because that will be insane. That's F1 2020 style of game, I have to say. But Luis Valles, great lap time from him as well. We got a Racing Stin as well, who's on a lap as well as he goes towards turn 4. I do believe a best sector time is around about 44, so if we could get higher than the 44 in sector 2, we should be all good. 43.6, that is a very good sector 2 time from Racing, but that was very close to an invalidation for the Haas driver, but as he heads towards turn 8 and 9 now, making sure he doesn't go wide. And he's invalidated in turn 10. That's why I keep saying every time, and it just does not work for him. But at least he's got a lap time on the board. Let's see how his teammate is doing down in P17. He's coming towards the line now, and he slots himself in P13. So really, really good for him. It's very, very close between those times. Mr. Anker, the only one, well, 3 drivers yet to set lap time. We've got Cookie, Anker, and BRL Devs. I believe he was reserved the last time I commentated, which was in China a few rounds ago. He's on a lap now, though, as he makes his way through turn 1. Now, turn 1 around Austria, sometimes the sun can blind you quite a lot. So the drivers have got to be aware of their braking references. But luckily, obviously, it is no assist, so they don't have to worry about the racing line. Because I do rely on the racing line a bit too much, but it happens. It happens. So we'll see Dead going towards turn 4 then. Oh, clipping the curb, and that's not what you want to do. And he just about avoided the wall. And the McCarthy McLaren as well. So Dead's, unfortunately, I don't think he'll have enough time to set another lap then. So, actually, no, we do have 6 minutes left to go. So, annoying that it doesn't show the timer when people are on laps. But anyway, Luis Valles is coming out once again. Jay Verhaar is actually having a good qualifying session at the moment. He's currently sitting down in 4th position. Currently 7th in the standings right now. He had his best finish in China, which was actually a P4. And I was questioning to him, how on earth did he get those? I think it was hard tyres to the end, or mediums, I can't remember what tyres, but he managed to get the tyres past his sell-by date, but it did work, and it was a miracle. So, and I wonder how these lifespans could handle these drivers. And I wonder if the tyres do start to overheat just a little bit. As Neon has unfortunately invalidated his lap time. There has been 42 Grand Prix held at this very circuit. 40 if it's excluding the Styrian Grand Prix, which happened every year. Well, not every year. Well, every year during the pandemic, which was last year and this year. Styrian Grand Prix are always, like, never exciting. But they happened. Whereas the Austrian Grand Prix are always exciting. Which I remember the famous battle between Fernando Alonso and George Russell for the final point. And I was heartbroken that George Russell didn't get his first point for Williams then, but it's history. He's recently scored points in Hungary, Belgium, and of course, if you were watching the Italian Grand Prix, he got 2 points in Monza as well. So Fritzen goes into the pits. I think everybody is going to go into the pits then. Let us know what you think in the chat of your thoughts of this qualifying session. As we're seeing a William wheeled into the pits there, BRL Deads. Hopefully he'll get in time. Luis Valles, I think, is setting his next lap. I'm surprised he's still out, to be honest, but I guess he wants some clear air. So here comes Luis Valles. He slots the timing tiles alight. Pole position for him, 102.4. Cookie just set a lap time, 102.5 then. 5.27, closely followed by Luke Smith in 3rd. And then we got JC in 4th place. So this could be a really tasty fight at the front of the field. Coming very, very soon. We're seeing some yellow flags, but they're just people moving out of the way. People have got to go into the pits very, very quickly then if they want to get their final laps in qualifying. So let's see who is out on out laps. We've got Jeffrey Ritchie on his out lap. We also got BRL Deads. We've got Sally, who is, I think, on a started a lap. Luckily, Jay Verhaar just joined in time to set his final lap, hopefully. If he is able to get out of the pits, and the game has been nice to him. But it is a short lap, so he should be fine and have no trouble at all with doing that. So if I just get the gaps then between the leaders. So gap between the top 13 is quite astonishing. Almost 5 tenths per second between the top 13. And we got 8 tenths between the top 14. And then we got Eduardo in 15th, just on that second range. And obviously Neil not taking a representative lap time as of yet. Maybe he's struggling a bit with his track. Deads, 17th. Anchor, these two not taking laps yet. Quite a few people in the pits though, as Sally has unfortunately invalidated his lap. We got Mark, one of the reserves then. He's looking to make an impression in the Mercedes, of course. He saw his compatriot Jay Benham do a last to first challenge in the Tier 1 race just now. And he's gone purple in Sector 1, 15.5 I think I saw there. That was very good for him. And you may have recently known that George Russell signed Mercedes for next year. Will Mark maybe go full-time in the Mercedes in the future? Well, he's got to prove himself tonight, but he's not going to improve himself like that because he has invalidated. Quite a lot of invalidations, like I said, but at least it's early. At least he's got a few more chances to get this lap that he needs to in. So, I'm just seeing who's about to cross the line. We've got another Mercedes then of Fritzen about to start his final lap. And then we got the Haas going into the pits. Then we got, I think, an Alpine coming out of the pit lane. But we got, I think, a Williams of BRL Dead who has invalidated, so he'll be going again. Then we've got a McLaren. No, it's not him, it's Eduardo, who slots into 14th. Mark, unfortunately, has retired from the session. So the checker flag will be dropping very, very soon, ladies and gentlemen. And Luke Smith will be about to start his final lap. So I think it'll be Perondi across the line first. So let's watch him then. Going towards turn 10. Perfectly executed from him. P8 for him, but still a very good lap time. We've got the two Aston Martins about to start their final lap. Mr. Anchor slots himself into the provisional alternate strategy pole position, P11. Only 3 tenths off pole though, and 3 tenths off his teammates. So I think the Aston Martin guys will be very, very proud, in particular Lawrence Stroll too. So 15 seconds left to go on the clock. Let's keep in track people who are about to do their final laps. Cookie's about to do his final lap at the moment. What about Eduardo? I think he's going again. Come across the line then. I think he has one more lap after that. 103.001. And we got Neil, who can't improve, unfortunately. But here's Luke Smith. Luke Smith has invalidated and he goes into the pits with disgust. And that's not what he wanted to do. But here comes JC, though. He wants to see if he can get better than 7th, which he does. Good job for him. We've got, I think, Jack Stone coming across the line next. He is invalidated, unfortunately, and stays 14th. Then we got the Alpine. Nope, it's not Cookie. It is Kerfuffle in 15th position. But can he go higher than 15th? P9 for him. Then we got another McLaren of Days Rhombus then. Coming across the line. 10th position. Could be some decent points for him. We do have a Ferrari going into the pit lane, I think. But then we have Cookie coming off the line. Can he get pole? No, not quite, but in 3rd position. Next we got, I believe, it's Fritzen, who goes into the pits as well. I think Eduardo will go into the pits as well. Maybe. I think Jeffrey Ritchie is slowing down. Is anyone else on a lap? Maybe BRL Dead is on a lap potentially. Nope, he's going into the pits. So that is everybody on a lap then. That's done, at least, of course. And apparently Jay Verhaar is having setting issues. So he's lost all his settings for his wheel, apparently. So he's going to have an issue going into the race then. So it wasn't a disconnect. It was settings issue, which was a bit of a shame. But hopefully he can recover. He's currently starting in 11th position, which is not all bad on a track like this. But I'm a bit worried he's not going to join the session in time. So it is Flores Vias then. Not for the first time this season. I believe he started pole position before. He's on pole again in Tier 2. He started P2 in Tier 1 tonight. Didn't quite keep it there. But he's got to make sure he keeps it in P1 today to prove himself. He's got a few good results here as well. 102.4 for Flores Vias in first. Jeffrey Ritchie in second. Cookie in third. Racing Stin in fourth. Luke Smith in fifth. Neon in sixth. JC seventh. Fritston 8th. Kerfuffle 9th. Dave Rombus in 10th. Jay Fahahi in 11th. Then we got Perondi, Mark, Mr. Anchor, Jack Stone, Eduardo Sally, and Des. I think that's everybody. And Jay tonight is going from bad to worse, unfortunately, as his game has crashed, which is a bit of a shame there. And I've just spoken to Flores, and he's very, very happy with his pole position. And considering that he's just done a race around this circuit in Tier 1, I thought he would be pretty tired by now, but obviously he's not. So, in a way, he must be okay. Now, we're getting... Oh, it's raining. It is raining here in Austria. Bit of a shock there because quite a few people started on the mediums in qualifying. So, that is going to be quite a game change for the drivers. Don't forget, this weather setting was set to approximate on this game. So you never know what the weather could throw at us. And this is what it could have in store. So I'll wait for the tyres then. I do believe it's intermediate conditions. You may not be able to see it properly, the weather on the screen, but it is raining at least. So, let's get the tyres up then. The tyres are as follows. Yes, everyone's on the intermediate tyres. So at least everybody has 3 choice of tyres. So if we go on board, it's not raining that hard, to be honest. There are some dry bits of the track, but you can tell that it's quite slippery as well. So I wonder if it's going to rain for the entire race, or if it's going to dry up or something like that. But judging by the rain now, it may stay like this for the whole race, but we'll have to wait and see. And we're knowing that there's some people in here that are very good in these wet conditions. I know JC's quite good. I think quite a few people. Cookie's quite good in the wet as well. I believe he set pole position in the wet in Japan in Tier 1. I think it was wet in Japan in Tier 1, but I don't know. But just a brief mention on the tyres then. 16 laps the softs can last for around this track. The mediums can last 21 laps. And the hards can last 26 laps. So something for the drivers to be aware of then. They've got to do their calculations. So if it does dry up quickly enough, they've got to basically pick the right tyre to go on to. Because if they pick the wrong tyre, that could come back to bite them later on. So waiting for everybody to line up on their grid slot. Who do you think will do well today? Quite tough to call, really. Cookie, with his best qualifying result of this... Actually, I know, I think he did qualify pole. Near pole in China, I think it was. But will he be able to keep it there? He's currently sitting 10th in the standings. His best result was in China with a P5. He got a P9 last week. Looking to be better, of course. So we're about to get underway then. The 5 red lights are on. And we are underway. It's go, go, go. Good start from Flores Vias, actually, to head towards turn 1. Jeffrey, quite bad start from him. And Cookie's got a brilliant start. I think Jeffrey tries to cover him off. As there's a bit of an argy-bargy at the moment. You can hardly see what's going on right now in terms of the spray at the moment. The Williams has dropped quite a bit as well. Jay's dropped a bit with, obviously, his AI. But you can see they head towards turn 3. Then going up the hill. And they seem to be doing okay. A few drivers going off the track. But that is to be expected. So Flores Vias did what I thought he was going to do and hold on to that lead. And you can see Jeffrey Ritchie losing ground to Cookie, then Cookie going past around the inside of turn 4. And it is Mark who's actually making some ground on Kerfuffle in the Alpine car. Going side by side and into turn 6. He's going towards the left. He's very tenacious, Kerfuffle, and he's going to not give up without a fight. But he decides to stay behind. No major issues so far. Everyone is still in this train. Don't forget, no DRS in these wet conditions. So, this could change everything right now. As Floris Vyas already setting the pace then. And he is going to enjoy himself right now. But you can't become complacent in WRR. As Neon's actually gone off, actually. Neon is having a good start. Up into P5. As unfortunately the timing tower glitch has happened once again. We thought it was not going to happen, but it is. Now the thing to watch out for is track limit penalties, which could decide the race. So hopefully they won't get too much around here. And we do see the Ferrari of Luke Smith. Now don't forget, I don't think Luke Smith has got pole this season, but he's still managing to pull some sensational performances. Now he needs to finish ahead of Jeffrey Ritchie really by 11 points to take the lead today, but he's not doing so at the moment. He's currently behind him, so the two championship rivals fighting in tandem at the moment. Hopefully they'll keep it cleaner, like unlike what Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen did to each other today. And you never know, there could be some late safety cars that will throw into the mix as well. So we'll keep an eye on position changes at this moment in time. So massive shout out to Jack Stone, currently in 9th position at the moment. He's gained 6 places. He's loving life in that Alfa Romeo as he tries to get past Friston then. On the traction, his straight line speed is amazing, and he's going to go into the kink of turn 2, and it may be an easy pass for him. But Fritzen is trying to leave as much space as he can. He's saying, no, you're not having that position. And Jack's saying, oh, yes, I'm having that now. Jack is, I believe, Top Jack, I believe. As he's using his full name from now on. I just got a bit confused there. But yeah, he's doing very, very well. Another driver that I've known quite well in the PC side. And he also does well in the wet conditions. So he's going to dive around the outside into turn 6 potentially. They're still going at it at the moment as they head towards turn 7. And it looks like Jack Stone is up into 8th position and is now going to chase the AlphaTauri then for 7th. So brilliant stuff from him. So now he's up 7 positions. And now Floris Vyas has increased the gap to a 1.2 second gap over Cookie. But Jeffrey Ritchie is pressurising Cookie at the moment for P2 because points could mean everything. This is like the real F1 points. The only difference is there's no fastest lap points in this league. So the fastest lap is Many for Glory at this point. I wonder if Cookie was struggling into turn 3 there, which may give Jeffrey Ritchie some momentum then. Maybe not then, as he dropped back a little bit. Sally, unfortunately, has had a bit of a moment. He's in the pits. And he is unfortunately changing his front wing. So he comes out in last place. So all that he hopes is probably a safety car to come back into this. Meanwhile, outside the top 10, we got Mr. Anchor, who's gained 3 positions in this race. So he's had a good start as well. But probably would have wanted to gain more positions. But overtaking in the wet is very, very difficult. But even the littlest points is better than no points at all. So he's going to try and get past Burundi. Oh no, it's Luke out the race. And I think there's going to be a safety car. Now let's go on board as he crashed to the final corner. So his night has gone from bad to worse. He crashed in Tier 1 and he's also crashed in Tier 2. And both times has brought out a safety car. So our championship rival, currently sitting in P2 in the standings, may drop if JC gets a good result tonight. And he's left the session in disgust, and we do have a drive-through penalty from Salin, the first penalty of the session. So will these guys opt for fresh inters, or will they be staying out? Now don't forget, these intermediate tyres last the same amount of time as the mediums, so around about 21 laps. So I doubt they're going to make it to the end from here. So they will probably, it'll make sense. A majority of people will stay out. But it looked like he crashed on his own. But it'd be interesting to get thoughts on Jay's crash. But it is very easy to lose it, I have to say. As, let's see, is Flores coming in? He stays out, so does Cookie, so does Jeffrey. So does Neon, Racing Stin, JC, Jack, Fritzton, Peroni. Dave Rombus, though, is taking the gamble. He is going into the pit lane. He's going into the pit lane. Now, it's not dry enough for slicks. It may not be dry enough for slicks for the whole race. But here he goes then. Dave Rombus on the inters. The only driver out of all 17 runners still in this race has decided, you know what, I want to pit. But it may be a gamble that I don't want to make, really. So, in my opinion, it's probably the wrong decision for Dave Rombus to go into the pits, but he may be seeing something that I'm not. He probably thinks it will dry up later, and, you know, it could be a good point for potentially him to get a podium. So, everybody is now going to wait until everybody else catches up, because don't forget Sally pitted as well. Don't forget you can serve stock goes during a safety car period, but you cannot serve drive-throughs. That is a huge mistake that I did last game, where I pitted under the safety car, thinking you could do a drive-through under safety car, but you can't. So you have to wait, I think, at least a lap after the safety car comes in order to pit and serve your drive-through. So at least it gives a little bit of freeway for Sally, of course. I don't think anybody else has a drive-through. Let me have a look and let me get tyres back up. The only penalty apart from Sally's is Dez, and he's got a 3-second time penalty, and I believe that is for track limit warnings. So fair play to everybody else for keeping it calm and collected at the moment. And yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a while before the safety car comes in then. Now, there's some other moments around this track where it can be a bit power hungry, because Nico Rosberg picked up 2 wins here. Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, they've got 1 win each as well. Red Bull's Max Verstappen picked up quite a lot of wins here. 1-2 this year, actually. And I think in 2018 was when 2 Mercedes retired as well. It was Bottas, I think, 1 lap, and then Lewis Hamilton 2 laps earlier, or 2 laps later. So the tyres, I would say, in the wet is a lot colder, so they need to be warming it quite frantically, as Flores Vires is showing to us right now. Because if you don't warm up your tyres in the wet, then you're going to spin in turn 1. And that's what we saw quite a few people doing. And that is why the formation lap was so crucial earlier on. This is even more critical now, because we're past that stage now. And when the safety car goes in, that is where Flores is going to absolutely floor it. I'm almost certain he has engineers with him, so he will be told what to do. And obviously it is cool. And it is brightening up as well, so we could see a dry end to the race. The sun is trying to peak up just a little bit. It's like, I'd like to come out now, please. Go away, rain. And I want sunshine. I think that's what the spectators around this track are hoping at the moment, because they've got their umbrellas right now. And they're probably on their phones singing to the sound of music. I don't want to get too many puns on this stream. I do apologise if I do. But anyway, lap 8 of 36 then. Still a long way to go of this race. And the safety car is in at this lap. as predicted by yours truly, as Flores is going to be your safety car leader. Don't forget, he was a driver that has driven the Haas esports team in the past, but he's looking to redeem himself to try and get an esports team for next year's Pro Series. And if he proves himself in Tier 2 today, then I'm sure a lot of teams will definitely be looking. So, here he goes then. If he doesn't nail this restart, Cookie is going to come knocking. So you can throw it any time from now until the start-finish straight, and it's up to the Aston Martin driver. So let's go on board with him. Mr. Anker's got a 5-second penalty with a severe collision with Mark. So we got Flores deciding to leave it as late as possible. Had it caught a lot of people out? Well, it might have caught Cookie off guard, but it definitely did not caught the Red Bull off guard. Jeffrey Ritchie had a mighty restart. Up into turn 2, he's got a pass, and Flores Vard is already pulling away then. Cookie, though, wants to get that P2 back to see if he can try and close up to the Aston Martin driver then. Goes down the right-hand side then. The two Red Bulls definitely working together then. Past turn 3, we got the Haas car of Racing Stin doing a superb job up into 5th place. Good score some points for the Haas team today. He's going to dive it. Tries, not much space at all heading towards turn 4. What was he doing? But luckily, he didn't go for an adventurous move because it could have ended in a disaster for Racing Stin. But JC, my oh my, that was close. But he's got Jack Stone on the gearbox of him right now as well as everyone is eyeing up for a move then. Don't forget, not many people have practiced for these wet conditions, mainly for the dry. So they may not know the braking zones too much. And you can see Flores Ryers is absolutely flying at the moment. 1.3 seconds over Jeffrey Ritchie at the moment. And he is just allowing everybody else to bow behind him. And he's loving it. Simple as. As Sally is going into the pits, I do believe that is to serve his drive-through. And closest barrel on track again is the two Red Bulls. Now, I wouldn't want to be in Cookie's position because Cookie is in a Red Bull sandwich. So I wonder if the Red Bulls are doing exactly the same as what McLaren did in real life and working together. Or maybe they're going to do a hungry situation where, obviously, in Neon's case, help Cookie be held up, for example. So we could have some interesting scenarios to develop at this moment in time. Now, I expect the drivers to be around about lap 20 for a fresh set of inters. Maybe a bit later, maybe a bit earlier. It depends on how long they can get the tyres. Now then, here we go then for lap 11 then. No major moves yet. Don't forget, no DRS. Not many ERS is used in these wet conditions. So plenty of opportunities to save ERS. And they get a chance to save ERS in the safety car period. And fuel as well is key because you don't have the max and the rich fuel that you had in the last game. You've got to calculate your fuel before you go into the race. And if you put too much fuel or too less fuel, then it can really hinder you. You really don't want to have too little fuel because you'll run out for definite if you push too much. If you know it's going to be a safety car, there could be a gamble because you could go onto lean mixture going into the safety car, but sometimes you just got to play it safe. But I know some drivers do not want to play it safe. They want to take some risks. Yellow flag, we got a Haas driver that's gone off. I believe that is Sally once again in the middle of turn 3. I won't be surprised if he goes and retires the car then. And I think it's still going to be double waved yellows at that point. I think it's going to take a while for the race director then to decide if it's going to be a safety car. And luckily it's not. It's a green flag race. I do remember in F2 I was ranting on why the F2 race director did not put a safety car quick enough for the opening lap incident through the Lesmos. It was insane. I was like, why did you not do that? But luckily the game, I think, is a little bit more proficient in stuff like this, I've got to say. As meanwhile, Dave Rombus is having a time of his life right now, up into 12th. We can see Eduardo trying to get past Kerfuffle then. So let's go on board with Eduardo. Yellow flag. Oh, what was that yellow flag? That might be Kerfuffle, actually. Actually, no, it wasn't Kerfuffle. It was Sally, though, as unfortunately retired in the pit lane. So it won't cause a safety car. But Kerfuffle wants to get P13 off Gil. So here he comes then. We got McLaren versus Alpine pretty much in a sandwich. And Cookie is leading this mini train. And then we got Dave Rombers in his own little train. Oh! Eduardo spotted in the same place as Luke Smith has. That is a shame, but luckily he didn't get off that bad. I think it was Luke Smith that came off worse earlier. But to be honest, I do not know how he saved that. That was incredible. Side by side in the Williams driver. Oh, a bit of tap in there. As BRL Deads goes off. I think more people are starting to make mistakes as the tyres are starting to get a little bit more worn. Now, what I've found on this game is sometimes the more worn your tyres are, the more grip it has for some drivers. But for some other drivers, it could be the other way around. But for me, after a few laps, that's where it's the most grippiest. It's not the grippiest when you go out of the pits. So maybe that's probably why they're going to leave. Most of these guys are going to leave it as late as they possibly can to go in and box. So Mr. Anchor is up into 8th position. So he was probably relieved that the carnage is not happening to him this week. And he's doing a great job. He's gained 6 places, but I believe he's got a penalty. And Eduardo Gil has retired from the session in the pit lane. I think that was him giving up as Racing Stin then has had a bit of an off. He's down into P12, so I did say he was going to do well, but unfortunately a bit of a commentator's curse. He may have a bit of terminal damage, which is why I think Kerfuffle is trying to catch up to him in this Alpine car. You can see the downforce that Kerfuffle is gaining on Racing Stint is a lot more compared to the Haas driver, so I wonder if it's going to be a straight fight between these two then. And the thing is, Kerfuffle does not want to be held up by the Haas driver. He does not want to get involved in any instance, as Flores Viers has received his first time penalty of the session then. 3 seconds. So time penalties belong to Flores. So we've got Neon has also got 3 seconds. Mr. Anchor's got 5, and so is Mark, but I think they'll be serving it when they come into the pit lane. Racing Sin has got 3, and Dead has got 6. Nobody else has got time penalties at the moment. So that is good if you're Jeffrey Ritchie, because that means you'll be able to extend your championship lead by just a little bit more. And he probably won't mind being in second position right now, because he knows obviously his main championship rival is now out of this race. We've got 3 retirements so far, but still plenty of opportunities. So do not tune out of this stream, because this is going to be absolutely epic. As you can see then, Kerfuffle is really putting on a charge on Racing Stin now. And I think it'll be a question of when for the Alpine driver more than if. But he's got to do it now. If he doesn't do it now, it's going to be very tricky when it comes to the pit stops, because pit stops for most of these drivers is all about the undercut. If you do not get the undercut right, you're in trouble. Now, speaking of undercuts, Mr. Anchor then is into the pit lane. He decided to serve his stop go penalty nice and early. No front wing change. He comes straight out. Oh, so it's drying up then. It's drying up on the mediums. Oh, that is intriguing. That is very intriguing indeed. So let's go on board, if I can. The track is drying, but it's still some slippy moments. So we obviously got to keep an eye on the DRS disabled sign. But could this be a gamble for Anchor that's worked perfectly? We'll see. Now, the pit lane lost time around this circuit is 17.5 seconds. And it is drying. It is definitely drying. And it's getting faster, these lap times, on these intermediate conditions. But you can still see the spray. So, Neil's pitted. Dave Rombos is pitting. Race is stint. They're all going to be going onto these medium tyres. Those will go until the end of the race. Jack Stone has got himself a 3-second time penalty as well. I still think it's too early. There's still spray. Racing Stint has gone for the softs. I don't think the softs are going to go to the end, my friend. But hopefully he's going to be proving me wrong that the softs could get until the end of this race. So if you'd like to follow us on our socials, don't forget it is at WROR League on Twitter. And you can also follow us on YouTube, obviously. Subscribe to us on YouTube and turn notifications on. And click that thumbs up button on this video if you haven't already. DRS enabled then. So Neon, Rhombus, Anchor have played it perfectly. Floris Vyas, though, has he got the gap he needs to maintain this race lead? Quite a few people, though, are going to be double stacking. So this is bad news for Alpine. Good news for Aston Martin, as already pitted earlier. Jeffrey Ritchie comes out. And we got quite a few people just making their stops then. Usually when DRS enabled is called, that means you got to pit for dries. Even though it's raining, you got to pit. So Floris, I believe, comes out still in the lead. Only just. But we got a Red Bull 2-3, another driver who has pitted their drivers early just to be a little bit risky. But the one that lost out the most was Kerfuffle, I think, because he got held up by his teammates. Unfortunately, double stacking does not work on this game. I wish it does, but it does not. Maybe it might work with a new patch. Hint, hint. So, 4 seconds is the gap between Floris Vyas and Jeffrey now. So Floris has gained quite a lot on the pit stop and he's already showing purple sector times. Well, of course he is, because he's the first one on those mediums to really push. And we're going to see the benchmark right now. Now, don't forget, softs could last 16 laps. There's more than 16 laps to go this Grand Prix. So, Racing Sin and the Haas in a lot of trouble. Everybody else should get those tyres to the end. So they last 21 laps. And Floris' gap is enough for him to be kept in the lead because he's got 3 seconds worth of penalties. If Richie closes within 3 seconds, Jeffrey's got this. If Floris Vyas has the gap to more than 3 seconds, Floris has got this. So I can't really tell who I think is going to do well. This is really sensational stuff. Jack was another person that gained from the pit stop monarchy. He's up to 5th. Fritzen is up to 6th. Peroni in 7th. Cookie in 8th. Dave Rombos in 9th. And Anchor at the moment could be scoring points again, which is such relief for him. I think him pitting on the mediums first probably triggered everybody else to do the same. And sometimes gambles do pay off to help your teammates potentially. But we could have a late safety car, which could mean that people go on the softs. You never know. Well, at 8.4 then by Floris Vyas, so the track is pretty much still damp, but it's definitely dry enough. Not many people are as struggling at the moment. But that means we could see some DRS then. Since DRS is activated, especially at this part, we could see some brilliant overtakes. So here comes Jack, who's having a stellar race so far. And is looking to prove his worth in Tier 2. Definitely doing so far. WOR has seen his potential, the WOR esports team, and has signed him to the WOR esports team recently. And a massive, well-deserved pat on the back for him. And he's definitely proven that he is a superstar in that team tonight. Still a bit of raindrops in the camera as well, so you never know. It could rain towards the end of this Grand Prix. 4:10 to the gap now, but Jack does have a time penalty. I believe he has 6. Let me just check a second. No, he only has 3. He only has 3 seconds then. And Jeffrey knows that Flores has got a penalty, so Jeffrey has been told by his Jeff that he needs to push. But his ERS is not at the best of levels right now. He is on around about 22%. Flores Vias is on 40, so Flores Vias can probably conserve his ERS more and do not need to worry about it. As long as he can keep that gap well in and above 3 seconds, he's got this one in the bag. But like I said, he can't become complacent. There's other drivers as well that can benefit with drivers getting penalties. JC, for example. But he's under threat from the Alfa Romeo behind. This could be the move he's looking for into turn number 4 then. But maybe not, because he was a little bit too further back on this occasion. But I have to say, some brilliant battles from these midfield drivers. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. Could we get some clear daylight very, very soon? You never know. As, we're seeing more penalties then, as Jack gets another one. I believe that's 6 seconds now. So I think with it being dry now, I think more people are prone to track limits. And if some drivers keep it penalty free, then I don't know how they do it. Because every time I go to this track, I always tend to get at least 1 penalty. Yeah, I always tend to get at least 1 penalty, and it drives me up the wall. So, yeah, it's going to be a nightmare if they do get penalties. But that means Jack has got to clear these 2 drivers thick and fast into turn 4. He was thinking about it. He definitely was thinking about it, but he did not want to cause any incident. And Ben, yeah, you probably missed it. It was rain at the start of the race. And now it's dry with a bit of raindrops, but it is dry now. So they're all on the slick tyres. Everyone apart from Racing Sin is on the mediums. Racing Sin's on the softs, and he will have to pit at the end, because otherwise those softs will not make it to the end of the race. As Jack's had a little bit of a slide there, going towards the final corner. Not ideal, I have to say. As we do have a yellow flag, that is Racing Sin, I think. Or is it? Actually, no, it's not. But he's pointing off to the side. So he must have had terminal damage then, but it is hard to tell. He's struggling in turn 1, so... And it's hard to tell, obviously, with the graphics. I kind of wish they do have a visual to say, or have they got, like, anything more than front wing damage, because it's a bit more difficult even in these overcast conditions to see it. 4.2 seconds is the gap now between this guy and Flores Vias up in front. Then the same gap is between Jeffrey Ritchie and JC, but JC, I think, will be quite happy with P3, because Neon and Jack are fighting to themselves as well, and all this will allow JC to just really increase that gap. As Dave Roberts had a bit of an off. Where is he? He is down in 13th position. Yellow flags in sector 3. So will this McLaren driver dive it into the pit lane, or is he staying out? I think for him, that is just a little bit of a spin for the McLaren driver. But Neon is right in the middle of this train. This could be his only chance. He's gone to get the move done right here. And right now, DRS activated. He's all right on ERS as well, but he's not that quite close enough, unfortunately. Maybe next lap, as Racing Sin is out of the race. He's given up like no tomorrow. He's decided, I'm throwing the towel. I don't want to take part in this race anymore. But what I've learned in life, that you just do not give up here. As more yellow flags are starting to wave here in Spielberg. And more fastest laps are starting to go into the fray right now. Lap 24 out of 36. Neon's got to be close enough this lap. He's about 2 temps now. And there could be more rain. I'm starting to see more raindrops again. Or it might just be my eyes deceiving things. I do not know. We'll see then as Neon dives around the right-hand side of JC. Maybe he doesn't look for the right-hand side. But we got Cookie versus Fritzen then. Cookie getting the better exit into turn 3. And he keeps it into turn 4 then. What about Fritzen? He doesn't want to give up without a bite. So here comes Perondi as well, who may sense an opportunity. He is definitely playing a brilliant backseat of all these two drivers here. And he wants to get a better result than P8. I'm almost certain of it. Don't forget, these reserve drivers in this tier definitely wants to prove a point too. So that's what Perondi's going to try and do as they head towards turn 9 and 10 now. Don't forget, the Lada curve is both right angle bends, but the uphill nature makes it a real handful to negotiate. But it looks like most of these guys are doing very well. To be honest, turn 1 was very clean at the start of the race. And we got a free white situation into turn 3 then. JC is deciding, I want to go for that move now. But Neon is like, hang on, you're not getting that move. As he tries to size it up, it's going to be free abreast, heading towards turn 4. The Haas might see the action as well. Actually, it's not the Haas, it's the Alfa Romeo. But who cares? Neon is going to pull away as they head towards turn 5. Now heading towards the downhill section of turn 6. Jack Stone is showing some incredible racecraft over the AlphaTauri driver. They have a little bit of a real bang touch then as they head towards turn 8. But JC covers him off. Oh my, good racing from all three of them right now as we're approaching lap 27 of this Grand Prix. Floyd's Fire still leads, but the battle for the podium still goes strong here tonight as DRS is enabled. Neil goes wide. Jack has a spin. Oh no! So his hard work has been undone, unfortunately, and he's probably going to kick himself. I would have probably kicked myself as well. So that means that could be out of the points, and I wonder if he got any damage from that, or if the spin saved him. I don't know. That's probably given Neon a side of a lead because he only has one other car to fight against with now, and that is the sister team of the AlphaTauri of JC, and he does not want the sister team to be the one in front. And that could mean big points for Red Bull in the Constructors. Massive, and I mean absolutely huge. 104.9 for Flores Fires. He's on fire. The gap's now 5.2. But I wonder if Jeffrey Ritchie is saving up all he can for the latter half of the race. He could still win. Penalty situation then. Only 3 seconds for Flores Fires. Not sure about warnings though. But hold on a minute. We got a battle between Neon and JC once again. This time Neon might have the upper hand, but he decides to back out because he definitely wants the DRS on the AlphaTauri driver. The AlphaTauri remains ahead. And he got past Neon. But maybe Neon has also got something up his sleeve as well. I wonder if Christian Horner has got a plan B strategy as they head towards turn 6 now. I'm absolutely loving this battle. We've had a later start to tier 2 tonight, but my oh my, it has definitely been worth the wait, I'm almost certain. And JC's pace is incredible. I think he was held up by Neon, but you never know. There could be a stage where Neon could run out of DRS, but he's catching. I think he's mainly catching in the first sector. He's losing so much time in the middle sector, which is allowing obviously JC to pull away. And it's not that long to go until the end of the race, and there's not many opportunities to make the move. So Neon does not have much time left to be able to get the job done. And let's see if there's some other battles happening at the moment for P7. We got a right part of the track then between Perondi and Fritzen. Perondi's about 6 tenths, but the gap It's just not quite close enough, but Fritzson could still get Cookie a three-way fight for P5 on this motor race. Valuable points, like I said, which could decide everything in this championship. As they go down the hill, past. Oh! There's Cookie. There's Cookie that's had a bit of a spin in the final corner. And that, I think, is half his front wing gone. And I think that is his race ruined, unfortunately. That is a shame. He's already gone wide in turn 1. And what I was about to reward him before he spun off was his consistency. His consistency has been absolutely spot on. But then he goes and does that. I should not jinx people. I should definitely not jinx people. Cookie's now got a lot of work to do if he wants to climb. As my pop filter just goes off there. Sorry about that. But, yes, he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to climb his way back up into 5th. And he's probably going to rely on other drivers making a mistake too. As we're seeing in the high mountains of Spielberg today, some more action then. As Cookie goes into the pits. And he's going to go on to some fresh tyres. Probably soft to get a bit of fastest lap. But don't forget, you do not get some fastest lap points. And to add to his woes, Cookie has got a 5-second time penalty speeding in the pit lane. And he does confirm that he had a front wing change. But there's still plenty of opportunities for next week as Jack has retired in the pit lane. What a shame after a beautiful drive earlier on this race. And there is a VSC. There is a VSC deployed. And could we see it upgraded to a full safety car just to spice things up a little more? No, I do believe it's going to stay a VSC then. And they cannot speed on the VSC because otherwise they're going to be in exactly the same situation as what we saw Sally earlier on. So Anchor, P6. But Neon's had a moment. So he's pitted and got damage. I wonder where he got damage there. I did not see that. That's probably what caused that VSC. Him getting damaged, but I do not know. I kind of would like to see his replay of what happened. That was an absolute nightmare for Neon. And, oh no, his day's just gone from bad to worse. He's lost the podium. He has to serve a drive-through. Yes, and Ben, the commentator's curse does strike again in WOR. It just seems to be coming and going, unfortunately. So, the second person to fall victim of speeding under VSC. I've done that. I think I've done that once or twice on the last game. I think one of which I remember was in France. I think I remember getting a drive-through and it was costing my race quite a bit actually. I just don't like it. But anyway, Fritzson getting a time penalty. Perondi could jump up quite a few positions here. Here himself and Jeffrey, the only two to not get penalties. Don't forget Jay is not in this race due to the fact obviously he disconnected and his game crashed and the setups unfortunately did not save for him. And this guy is on a mission. Do not count him out. And I'm almost certain that he's been told to push once more because he still knows the win is in sight. Because I think Lois lost about a second on Jeffrey. I don't know when, but we've been keeping an eye on the gaps very, very closely indeed. As we head on the 3 laps to go mark. And Mark has just got himself a penalty. So Mark has got the most penalties out of anybody. 12 seconds at the moment. What about Porondi then? He's about 4 tenths on Fritzen. I don't think he'll be challenging for the move. I think he wants to be probably the most cautious as he possibly can. Because otherwise, if you take the risks, you're going to end up bidding it and you're probably going to get no point at all. That's what some people have done. They just took so many risks and that's why they got the penalties. Or it might be just an easy slam dunk move. You never know. And Cookie has just set the fastest lap of this race, 1:03. And obviously, some of the drivers who retired have left the session, unfortunately. And Neil just picked up himself another one, so 9 seconds now. I think once you get a time penalty, it's very hard to just keep within that 3 seconds. And I think Flores has saw that Jeffrey was closing in, so he's gained about another 5 seconds on Jeffrey this lap. And Ben just said in the chat, it is Flores' race to lose now. It definitely is. He's probably a little bit worried right now, but he basically has not lost the lead once. He's led every single lap. So, if he loses this one, he's going to be in a bit of a trouble. Meanwhile, we've got Fritzen versus Porondi into turn 3 then. Porondi to the right-hand side. We've got Fritzen to the left. Porondi beautifully done and managed. But who's going to get the DRS? Is it Porondi or is it going to be Fritzen? We don't know. Fritzen, see if he's got the straight line speed. I don't think he is close enough. So Fritzen stays in 5th place, but watch it being a ding-dong battle for the final lap of this race. Kerfuffle, I think, gets past the other Mercedes driver and it's up into 7th position. So, even though Cookie won't be getting any points today, Kerfuffle is going to make up the places, and I have to say, good race from him. He's gained 2 places. Yellow flag. I think that's Neon again, but I will double check. Yes, it is Neon. Has binned it in turn 3. And I believe Flores will come to lap him at some point. As we are on the final lap. I have to say, it's been a faultless drive by the Aston Martin driver. We could see the 4th different winner from 5 races. The only driver to have won 2 races this season was Luke Smith. JC won the first one, Nomsy won in Canada. We could see a 4th different winner today. Having this lovely helicopter shot as they make their way towards turn 8 and 9. You cannot get any penalties, Flores. Keep it cautious. Flores comes across the line and wins in Austria in Tier 2. Excellent stuff. He's going to keep it due to the gap not being enough. He wins by 1.6 seconds over Jeffrey Ritchie. JC comes across the line in 3rd, but I think Porondi will get 3rd. Yes, he does. So congratulations to Porondi for getting a podium. JC 4th, Fritzen 5th, and Anchor. What a recovery drive for him to get 6th, but would he keep 6th? I don't know, but we've got a 3-way fight for, I think, P7, 8 and 9. So Kerfuffle 7th, Days Wombers 8th, Dead's 9th. Mark will get the final point. I think we'll just wait for Cookie to cross the line as Neon was lapped. So there he goes then. Oh. There he does not go. Oh, it did take a while. There we go. It eventually got it. But I almost lost my voice again. But I have to say, Austria never disappoints. And Porondi gets the in-game driver today. And I have to say, Porondi gets an honourable mention for me. Because, obviously, Flores Fires, who kept the lead from start to finish, he was quite dominant with the gap. But Porondi avoided the carnage as well and deserved that podium. And as well as Jeffrey Ritchie, who extends his championship lead. So all 3 of these guys who are on the podium at the moment definitely deserve to be there. And we've got 3 different nationalities in the top 3. Sensational. Hopefully we'll hear from, all of them in the interview box soon. If my voice decides to handle it. So, let's go through your results then. So, Flores wins from Jeffrey Ritchie in 2nd, Porondi in 3rd, JC in 4th, Fritzen in 5th, Mr. Anchor in 6th, Kerfuffle in 7th, Days Wombers in 8th, BRL Deads in 9th, Mark rounds up your top 10. Then we got Cookie and Neon, your final finishers, in retirement are Jay, Jack Stone, Racing Stinn, Eduardo Gill, Sully and Luke Smith. And we've only had 18 drivers race today. A bit of a late start, obviously, due to some of the Tier 2 guys racing in Tier 1 tonight. But the drivers failed to disappoint. They were incredible. So thank you to every single one of those drivers for being so patient and being so incredible. As I'm going to actually mute my game sound because otherwise I will be able to hear it. But we are going to see if people are waiting for an interview then, as I undeafen myself because I'm a good girl. So we'll just wait for a second then. But where are we next week? I don't even know where we are next week. I'm an absolute doofus for not knowing where I am next week. If I check, I think we're in Silverstone next week. Yes, we are at Silverstone. September 19th. I am looking forward to Silverstone. I hate driving Silverstone on this game, but Silverstone to commentate is incredible. It always brings out absolute classics, so should be fun. And it's an easy, I would say, an easy one-stop race. The tyres, like Austria, don't degrade too much around this, so should be a fun race in terms of actual pure racing as well. And there's a lot of drivers' home track as well, so they do not want to disappoint. And we'll see if anyone wants to join us for an interview. If not, that's okay, because obviously for most Europeans it's around about 11 o'clock UK 11 o'clock European time. It's currently 10 past 10 UK time at the moment. And I think since we have no one in the interview box, I'm going to keep babbling on just in case, because you never know. We could have me about to end the stream and then we have a few people joining us, so we'll see. But anyway, thank you so much for joining this stream. It's been a lot of fun. I've been on my own today, but I coped very well, hopefully, fingers crossed. Hopefully Jeremy will be joined back next week. Same time, I don't even know what time it's going to be next week. It depends on how many Tier 2 drivers fill in for Tier 1, or how many reserves we get to fill in for those places. We don't know. And, oh, we do have some interviews. Okay. Good job I was blabbling on then for quite a bit, because otherwise we would have just missed the interview slot. So we're at least going to hear from our race winner then, as I'm going to tell him to go into the waiting room. As you can probably hear me typing in the background, I do apologise, and let us know who is being your driver of the day. And we'll just wait for Flores to come in. And a few people in the chat saying that they hated that race. I can understand why, because obviously it was quite dull in some places, like obviously because of the rain. Come on, Flores. I've got a bed to go to. There we go. There he is. I will drag him in. And he probably wasn't expecting the win today after what happened in Tier 1. But we're going to have a chat to see how he feels. And even though he won from lights to flag, it probably wasn't as easy for him. So we'll hear his thoughts now. So, Flores, congratulations on a race victory. You may have won from lights to flag, but it definitely wasn't easy in these wet, changeable conditions, was it?
To be honest with you, the wets were... it wasn't right. I was pushing... I was pulling away from the back like 2 seconds. And I was like, oh, this could be a comfortable 4 seconds when the pit stops to drivers came. But unfortunately, the safety car came, so I had to do it all over again, which I did. With a few little mistakes here and there and the penalty, but to get the win is just an amazing feeling. Back and with such a big lead as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think there was a few drivers that were probably delighted that you probably got that penalty, but it wasn't quite enough for them to snatch the victory off you as well. And talk us through your quali lap as well, because you managed to set a very good lap in qualifying as well. Obviously, you were racing in the tier above as well, and you managed to put it on into second place. So were you expected to get on pole in this tier?
Yes, I wasn't expected to do a pole lap, but not this pole lap. I was aiming for like a 0.2, maybe even a 0.1 high, but nevertheless, the pole is pole, and yeah, that's what I came for, and I had a good start from there, and that's it.
Yeah, and obviously, was it hard, obviously, coming from the first tier race to tier 2 in terms of your mindset as well? Because obviously you must have been very tired after the end of this race, wasn't it?
I'm knackered, but yeah, the tier 1 race wasn't going to plan, so I had my fingers crossed to make it happen in this race, and I did. So yeah. I can't complain. I can complain only about one thing, and that's the penalty. But other
That's
than
the
that,
only mistake you made in that race, was getting that penalty. The rest of that race, you were absolutely faultless as well. So I don't know where that puts you in terms of the championship, but that's definitely going to jump you up a few positions with many of your rivals not scoring any points or not here tonight as well. Where do you see yourself in the championship fight? Do you want to still aim for the title?
Depends really on whether how much the F2 and F1 tier is gonna be mixed together again. Because if I do get a call up for tier 1 again, I would do that.
Yeah.
But if not, it would be good to drive both again, because it's knackered. It's like a tough thing, but it's like, yeah, it feels good.
It shows you got that endurance as well, because some drivers have to do 100% races, so that's kind of equivalent to a 100% race. So
yeah.
If you could do it, I'm sure other people could do it as well. But that's why I'm not sure what time it's going to start next week for tier 2 again. But we might have the same situation next week. Who knows? But heading into, I believe, Silverstone next week. Do you have the same confidence as this week? For the track, or do you think you need to practice a bit more? Because I know you've done a few good laps around Silverstone in the past.
I think Silverstone was in the past in esports as well, one of my better tracks, because in esports I got Q3 last year with the Haas, so that was good. So Silverstone is one of my better tracks. And yeah, I want to make a comeback, so that's all I can say right now over here. To just putting it on pole in tier 1 and tier 2.
And sorry.
Yeah, go on.
And I believe your teammate has got points as well, so good points for the constructors as well going forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Right then, so I'll leave you to it then, because you're like you said, you're knackered as well.
I'm
knackered.
sweating.
Yeah,
I'm sweating.
I'm sweating and I haven't even raced. So, but anyway,
imagine my seat is like a swimming pool right now. So
thank you for joining us, Flores, and congratulations on the race victory. And wherever we see you next week, whether it's in tier 1 or tier 2 or both, best of luck for the races. Or race, how many you do around Silverstone.
Thank you, and thank you for commentating for this late.
You're welcome. Congratulations, and we're now going to wrap up the stream. One interview is better than none, I have to say. It was nice to be chatting to Flores there. Well done to everybody tonight on both tiers. Tier 1 and Tier 2. If you missed Tier 1 tonight, you can check that out on the WOR YouTube channel. And there's also Xbox on tomorrow at 8 p.m. I don't know who the commentator's on for that, but they're going to be racing around, I think it's China, is, or Japan, no, they just done Japan, excuse me. So it's China in the Xbox tier next on Monday. And then we've got obviously PS4 on Friday with Luke Etheridge and Sam commentating that one. And then we got Sunday around Britain with us lot on the PC side. So thank you very much for listening. We're going to let you go and have a bit of a chill because like us, you're probably knackered. So we'll see you around about between 8 and 9 o'clock. We don't know what time. We'll keep you updated as the things continue, because obviously we don't know who's racing in what tier yet. But anyway, see you next week regardless. Have a good evening and goodbye.
Antoine is going to be crowned your WR Season 10 champion.
And history's been made. Ballina, the first WOR PS4 champion. What a championship! What a season! Absolutely phenomenal!